I've had 11 amazing seasons here in Cleveland, and to know when it's time to call it quits and to put a cherry on the career is always tough.
Just reflecting back on all the great times that I've had here and just coming to terms with the fact that my football career is over and my time as a Cleveland Brown, as a player, is over. I can say without a doubt that my favorite memory in pro football, my favorite memory in this stadium was playing against the Buffalo Bills in 2007, what affectionately became known as the Snow Bowl. There was 6 inches of snow that had fallen in about 30 minutes. And standing right there in that tunnel, waiting to be announced, looking out in this field, you couldn't even see the dog pound from where we were in our tunnel. And it was a dream of mine to always be able to play in the NFL in a snowy game like that. Rob Chudzinski was our offensive coordinator, and Rob wanted to make sure that the Bills knew that we weren't going to be afraid to throw the ball down the field in that game. So the very first play of the game, we called key right, nod 999, which basically is the quarterback drops back as far as he can and just chucks the ball way down the field. We didn't realize there'd be 40-mile-an-hour headwinds. So the ball came out of Derek's hand pretty good, but as it went up in the air, it went about 20 yards and hit that wall of wind and just completely stopped and fell right out of the air like a wounded duck. After that, everybody knew you weren't going to be able to throw the ball the rest of the game. But it turned out that Jamal Lewis was a pretty good running back, and we handed the ball to him a bunch of times that game, and he ended up with over 150 yards rushing. We closed out that game 8-0. 2 Phil Dawson field goals, and an unlikely way to win. 2 field goals and a safety, winning a game 8-0 without scoring a touchdown and shutting out your opponent was a really, really fun memory. And I think it's, in my opinion, one of the cooler NFL games, even if you're not a Browns or a Bills fan. Another great memory that I have in this stadium is playing against the Defensive Player of the Year, Jason Taylor. Just coming into my own as a rookie in the NFL. I'd been playing some good football, but I was ready for my toughest challenge of my career. For me, it was an intimidating week. It was a week that the coaches had hyped up. They had talked all week about how Jason Taylor was going to eat my lunch. And I really started learning at that point the importance of film study and breaking down your opponent. And that week I spent countless hours watching Jason Taylor on film, trying to figure out how I could stop his long arm stab. That was the move that for 14 or 15 years he terrorized offensive tackles in the NFL. He would stick that long arm out there, and there was almost no way to stop it. He would get that long arm in your chest, and he'd push guys right back, and then he'd flip his hips and get up the field, get to the quarterback. He was a sack master. Nobody was able to stop it. And I spent so many hours in that dark film room by myself that week, breaking down Jason Taylor. I think about Wednesday, it finally dawned on me that the only way you could stop that is to not let it get started. Don't be like these other offensive tackles and let him get that hand into your chest and then try to knock it off or then try to grab him. What I needed to do was to punch his punch. So when he stuck that arm out, I was going to try to basically slap high five with him, because I knew that would kind of throw off his balance and that would keep him far enough away from me where I could move my feet to stay in front of him. And at the end of that game, I had a great sense of satisfaction. I was able to shut him down and not allow him to get anywhere near the quarterback. And it was all about that little tip that I picked up in that film room.
It's down to 4, 3, 2, 1. They got it off. The kick on the way. End over end. The kick is up, and it is no good. And the Browns have won it. A 45-yard field goal, no good at the absolute last tick of the clock. And it's 0-14, no more on Christmas Eve. The Browns are a winner.
2016, the last time I was able to walk down this hallway with the feeling of a victory, and that was a good feeling. Walking through these doors after that game against San Diego, finally our work had paid off. That was the only game we won that year, but it was such a special moment. Walking into this locker room, seeing all those guys, seeing those coaches, getting that first win of the season. seeing Coach Hugh, we locked eyes, just like you do at prom with your prom date. I walked up to him and put my arms around him, and I just couldn't hold it together anymore. And there was a good 30, 45-second bro hug, and the tears definitely came like waterfalls. I'll never forget that feeling, that overwhelming emotion that erupts. The emotion that comes out and that you can't handle it and you just need to go with it. I'm not sure why I was so emotional about a 1-15 or a 1-14 record at that moment, but it just felt like we were doing all the right things and we weren't getting that payoff. And to finally get that one moment, it just felt like somebody was looking down on us and helping us a little bit in that game.